yet again, Ontario is saying it's going to hold firm on the U.S. booze ban at the LCBO. I'm very, very unclear what the number is. When they first took all of that California wine and Kentucky bourbon off the shelves of those hundreds of LCBO outlets, I was under the understanding, Sheila, it was about $1 billion of inventory. Now they're saying the number is 80 million. That is quite a discrepancy, unless maybe are we talking it's 80 million wholesale, almost 1 billion retail. Is that the confusion here? But they're going to allow this. In some cases, you're talking about products that have a best before shelf date, and they'd rather see it rot than get any revenue. This is product that's being bought and paid for. This is Doug Ford's brother, Rob Ford, who coined the phrase respect for taxpayers, is rolling in his grave over this, Sheila. This is not Doug Ford's money to gamble with and do virtue signaling with. It is ours. And when I say ours, I mean, as an Ontarian, the LCBO is a crown corporation. We are the shareholders. He has no right to do this.
First of all, I don't think there's more than a 10 times markup on the booze, right? Like if it was 80 million versus 1 billion, it's more than a 10 times.
Where do these two numbers come from?
Well, I think it's like the panic of it all. So I think, when they're like, oh, we're pulling it off the shelf, we're sticking it to the Americans to the tune of $1 billion. And then once everyone's like, actually, you're sticking it to us right now because we already bought that booze and the LCBO is owned by the Ontario taxpayer. And they're like, oh, never mind. It's only 80 million.
Yes.
So I don't know how, are they writing it down so that it's, not, again, we use the term stranded asset. I don't know. But again, I watched what the Americans can do. And then the best we can do is, sorry, no bourbon. Like it's what a sad, Sheila, sad time.
Let me ask you this. Even if you agreed with a boycott of, say, Kentucky bourbon, why not sell off the stock that's already bought and paid for with a sign saying, hey, folks, when it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
I mean, you're achieving the same objective. Actually, it's a better objective because you're not squandering 80 million or almost a 1 billion, whatever the number is. And I don't know why we have such a hard time coming up with numbers. I remember, I'm going back about 7 years ago, we were trying as hard as we could to get the theft numbers out of the LCBO. And finally, the LCBO admitted, I think the number, I'm going by memory, Sheila, it was somewhere in the range of 2 to 6 million a year. And the union went, no, that's the union that represents the retail workers. It's actually closer to 77 million. Why? You would think of all products, you're really auditing liquor very closely. Why can't we get accurate figures on what's going out the door?
I just want to go back to your original question. I had to write it down because I was like, is that a real question? You are asking me why a government-run business monopoly did not do the right thing according to the bottom line.
You're right.
David, are you okay?
Yeah, no, 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 I'm not okay. Obviously, you have the evidence of that. And by the way, Sheila, as I've said so often, there is a role when it comes to government and booze, and that is to regulate it and tax it. That's it. You do not warehouse it. You do not retail it. And the biggest scam of all, Sheila, is that the LCBO, they can't privatize it. It's such a cash cow. No, no, no. The majority of those revenues are coming via taxation. So if they were to privatize it, as your province did rightly back in the 90s, you are still making that revenue, that all those millions
on the sin tax,
is coming into the government coffers.
You're making money on the sin tax, but you're also making money on the corporate tax.
Yep.
These are all business. You know what? And like, if you go into any small town in Alberta, there's 1-2 liquor stores. You go into a major municipality, you throw a handful of gravel, you're going to hit 3 liquor stores, beer stores, whatever. And these are all people living their entrepreneurial dream. they've got a retail outlet. It's making money. They're hiring people. They're an economic force in the neighborhood. And that in Ontario is being stolen from regular people by the government. And I find it irritating every time that I'm there. And I'm like, why is this liquor store closed at 7 or 8 o'clock on a Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can roll into a small town liquor store in Alberta. It's open till 2 a.m.
Yep.
You know, it's selling booze on bankers' hours. Never made sense to me.
And you know, Sheila, since you are in Alberta, you can prove the fallacy of this statement. When you look at Ontario and all the other provinces that have liquor control boards, the ostensible policy reason for that board is this murky phrase, social responsibility. Translation, because we're government, we subscribe to a higher standard. You see, if we were to let the private sector, which is obsessed with profits, sell liquor, well, the next thing you know, there'd be a bunch of 15-year-olds drinking Colt 45 in the parking lot getting wasted. Sheila, you've had a privatized system for so many years. Is that the reality on the ground with Alberta liquor stores?
No, in fact, I was just pulling up the statistics because I thought about it. The most alcoholic place in Canada is Quebec, and Alberta is somewhere near the bottom. But the lowest is Nunavut, where it's so tightly controlled. No. So we're not even close to being the heaviest drinkers in Canada. But it's just so darn inconvenient in Quebec. We're not it's as free, I think, as it is anywhere in the country here in Alberta when it comes to booze sales, although we can't buy it at the grocery store. It's weird. But you can buy it in the store attached to the grocery store. I don't know why I have to walk out and go in the other door, but whatever. But the standalone liquor stores are absolutely everywhere. They're all privatized, and it's not any more social mayhem here than it is anywhere else in the country.
You like the hat? Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.